locals and day skiers,
Right.
which the Cottonwood resorts have more so of than, say, a Deer Valley or Park City. I'd say, a lot of them, a mix. Again, it's a staffing issue because it takes more time to do that, and yo-yoing the lifts.
Yeah.
And it
How long does it
so,
take to do? Do we
again,
have enough time to do what?
Yeah, how long
Yeah.
is the survey itself?
it's probably a 10 to 12-minute survey.
It looks a lot shorter than it used to be.
How
Oh,
long
yeah.
is, what's the
But
longest
even
chair?
so,
It's
10 to 12 minutes, plus you
10
have to
10
approach
minutes.
them
That's
and
not
do
bad.
it.
That's about
And
10, I think.
and
Yeah, two,
Wow.
we'll get two of it.
15 minutes.
You can do chickadee.
it can. Locals skip out on a lot of the questions, so it'll go faster
Chickadee would work.
for those folks.
Yeah,
I
we
see
could.
that the chair's being difficult too because kids will get online with people they know and they want to talk to their friends. And I'm like, sorry, don't talk to your wife and kids. I'm going to go to school with you. You know, they're in a restaurant there. You can always, in the family's advice, someone's getting the food, someone's going to the bathroom, but a chair.
But you have a captive audience.
You do.
It's like,
Yeah, they're not going
anywhere
to-
for the next,
And you're talking to people
Yeah,
on the
but
lift
none
anyway.
of them are
So.
15 minutes long.
All right.
Nobody will be in it. Go ahead.
Okay.
All right, let's keep going here. Again, if others in the group want to complete a survey or have comments, again, just politely tell them that you need to finish this survey with the person that you selected, but you'd be happy to talk to them afterwards and get their feedback and opinions as well. Snowball effect, we just talked about that, refusals. Some surveys require a later start so that skiers and snowboarders will have had experience that day with the mountain experience. So they can properly rate questions, and that's primarily more the experiential ratings questions, which the Ski Utah survey does not have a component to really. There's an open-ended question on the Ski Utah survey asking about if they have comments about their experiences in Utah. But by and large, you really don't need to be concerned so much about that, about when you start the survey. The NSAA survey does have a block of ratings questions. So, and we consider those optional, if they're helpful to Snowbird and you want those in there.
We'll find out more tomorrow.
Okay. For NSAA, they're not as interested in those as they are more the demographics and, beginner issues and things like that. So we'll talk more about that later. Just a few more additional lift line or lift ride procedures if you're conducting surveys in that manner. If there's no line, as I mentioned earlier, you still need to establish some kind of counting procedure. So maybe it's every third person that comes by, you would select that person, but it's still maintaining a counting procedure for that selection process. You can start the survey in the lift line or the maze so that you're assured to finish the survey by the time you get to the top of the lift, okay? So start asking the questions while you're standing in line. That'll help you get through the survey a lot quicker in that way. And then if it looks like you're not going to finish the survey by the time you get to the top, just politely ask the person if they wouldn't mind holding up at the top for you have a couple more questions you want to wrap up with. And most people are pretty amenable to doing that.
Plus, it's a party day.
Exactly. Right. Become familiar with the different types of questions on the survey. Some are check one only, some are check all that apply. Some ask you to enter a number response, such as night stayed or days skied at various resorts, or the zip code question, expenditure figures, questions like that, for example. On the expenditure questions, we're trying to get data for different revenue departments, so food and beverage, ski lessons, transportation, things like that. If the respondent isn't able to give you a number for each of those, at least try to get a grand total for the last 24 hours, and that information is still helpful to the economic impact model that we're putting together. On multiple response questions, it's helpful to probe, is there anything else you'd like to add, or any other thing, any other answers to this question, just to help to round out the data that we're collecting on those particular questions. Okay. You'll see NA or DK on some questions, and that just means not applicable or don't know. If that's an appropriate response, check that. And then this next item is really not an issue anymore, but Sometimes we had long lists, answer choices, and you would have to scroll the screen to actually see the full list. But we've pretty much shortened the list now, so it's pretty tight, and they fit on one screen. Also mentioned that you can increase the font size of the questions and the responses in the tablets, and I can show you how to do that.
I've set it up with giant size already.
There you go. And sometimes when they are in giant size, then it does require you to scroll a little bit to see all the responses on the screen. Okay. Even partially completed surveys are valuable. So if somebody bails halfway through, either on a paper survey or a tablet survey, still try to complete as much as you can, like the demographics at the end, and turn in that survey.
So it'll go through even if someone left it one or two things.
Yeah.
You can still push run and it will download what you have in there.
So on the tablet, you can go, there's a couple different ways. You can go all the way through the end, which is a bit of a pain. You can, on the, I don't know if you've messed around with the tablet much, but always in the lower left-hand corner, there's always a return arrow. If you're familiar with an Android device, even on your phone, you hit the lower left-hand, that takes you back to the previous screen that you're on. If you hit that when you're in midstream in a survey, that'll kick you out of the survey, and it'll ask you, do you want to save the survey or do you want to discard it? And if it's a bad survey, or if they just, you got to the first screen and it's not even a good questionnaire, you could just delete it. If you say yes, save it, those surveys will start to stack up underneath the survey on the run page, and you'll see like a orange circle with an exclamation point, and those are surveys that haven't been uploaded yet. And you can always manually sync surveys. The tablets are set up to automatically sync surveys and push them up to our survey once you've completed an interview, as long as you're connected to Wi-Fi. If you're not connected to Wi-Fi, the records will start to stack up here. Once you go back into Wi-Fi, they automatically upload. Or you can always go, there's 3 little dots in the lower right-hand corner. If you just press those, a little menu will pop, and it'll ask you to sync surveys or sync results, and just sync results, and it'll push the surveys up that way. Sync surveys is for if we make a change to the questionnaire, and we have a new version of the survey, we would ask you to sync all the tablets, sync surveys on all the tablets, so you have the most current version of the survey. All right. Language barriers, sometimes you may encounter an international visitor that doesn't understand English well enough or speak it to have a conversation with you, but they typically can better read English, so it helps to show them the questions or let them take the survey themselves that way. And it's just another tip of trying to get through the survey of those folks that you might encounter. All right. We've touched on some of the tablets and the interviewing software. The software is called Survey2Go. It's by a company called Dublo. They're actually an Israeli company that are obviously very high on security over there. The software is again, it's fairly bulletproof. It's hard to screw it up. We've had some instances where people think they've lost surveys, or they haven't been recorded, or they haven't been uploaded, but there's no way to mess that up. They're always been uploaded, or they're on the tablets, and it's just a matter of syncing them and pushing them up to the survey. So there's always a way to fix if you run into any of those kind of problems. And if you wanted to do it on your phone, you would just go to the Google App Store, search for Survey2Go or Dublo, and you would see that app there. You would download it, log in with your username and credentials that we provide for Snowbird and you folks, and it'd be the same as taking on the tablets that you have, if you choose to go that way. This last one, I probably get more calls on this than anything, this login failed error, and it basically says that these user credentials are not found on this device. Do you want to try to log into the server? And that essentially happened whenever you log into a new tablet, and this will happen with your new tablets, with a new username for the very first time. And all it means is just the tablet and the server don't recognize that you're logging into that tablet with that username for the first time. You just say yes or proceed, and it'll log you in normally, and then you'll never get that message again on that tablet with that username. It's just another kind of a quirky thing with the software that I don't like. I like everything else about it. but this happens with the first time that you initiate the device with the username, any particular username. So you start a survey to go, start the program. Always start it up in Wi-Fi, as I mentioned earlier. If you go to forget to start the program and you go off on the mountain, you don't have Wi-Fi, you won't be able to start up a survey. If you be sure to start the program, have survey to go running before you go out, you can go offline, out of Wi-Fi, and conduct as many surveys as you want, and they'll just save on the tablet till you get back in the Wi-Fi, and it automatically pushes them up. You can also set the tablets to not automatically push up surveys. If you, for some reason, wanted to see those surveys, go back, make changes, just to make sure you had everything complete. That's just another option in the setup screen within the program. Don't necessarily recommend that. It's better just to have them being pushed up all the time, but that is an option if you want to do that. We talked about manually syncing and how you do that. The screen, we talked about that. Comment questions. There's essentially one big open-ended comment question on the survey asking about their experience in Utah. When you get to that, keyboard will automatically pop up. You can type in the response, the open-ended question, or you can, there's a little microphone on the keyboard and you just tap that and you can speak the response and it'll translate the text into that question form space right there for you. So it's a pretty handy feature. The surveys are also tracked through GPS on the tablet, so each survey is tagged with latitude and longitude coordinates, so we can tell, we can literally print out a map and show you where all the surveys were conducted on the mountain. Also happens, you know, if you suspect somebody's cheating on surveys, we've had this, you know, resorts call us. They, yeah, I mean, we'll look at it.
None of our people ever did that.
Yeah. We'll look at it and, you know, all of them, 90% of them are on mountain, but there's this one interviewer, you know, we're downtown at the coffee shop, you know, doing surveys. So we can track that as well.
So I can't go to Alta anymore and do my survey.
Remember, you don't have to do it. That's right. You're just here to answer questions.
Charge the tablets nightly, we talked about